What's going on, 5-Star fam? It's a match preview special where LA United take on DC United on Saturday at the Benz at 3:30. It's going to be a 6-pointer as 7 takes on 5. DC United at 5 and LA United at 7, of course. And there's 1 point between us in the standings. So it's going to be a very tasty one. And both teams came off a very, very good win, respectively. 3-0 for DC United against Chicago Fire, where Ola Kamara scored a hat-trick. And, of course, at LA United, we scored 4 and conceded nothing against FC Cincy, where Araujo scored a wonder goal and Jose Martinez scored a brace. And there was a free kick by Ezequiel Barco that went into the back of the net. But, guys, yeah, it's not the same DC United as sometimes we're used to, where they're dwelling in the bottom of the standings. They're doing a lot better this year. And, yeah, you know, the new head coach, Hernan Losada, has definitely has them playing a lot better than previous years. It's, yeah, you know, who would have thunk a new head coach would have changed the whole vibe around a club? But, yeah, there seems to be some similarities for sure. But last season, they finished 13th in the Eastern Conference, didn't qualify for the playoffs. But the key acquisitions from the offseason, Nigel Robertha, he was signed from the Bulgarian top flight. He had 20 goals and 8 assists in 39 games, but he hasn't really played much this season. But Giovanni Bolivar, another forward. Bolivar, he arrives from Deportiva La Guaira on loan with a purchase option. And he's a 19-year-old Venezuelan youth international. And then also Brendan Hines Ike, American center back who spent the last half decade in Europe. But getting into some key losses, there weren't too many. Paul Ariel, he was on loan to Swansea, but he had that loan cut short due to injury, and so he is back. But yeah, in terms of us in our series matchup, we've won 3. They've won 3 in this last 6 matchups between us. They have 8 goals to our 10. We of course won 2-1 on August 22nd earlier this year. But getting into some of the strengths of DC United, they're a team that likes to create chances through balls. They come back from losing positions quite well, and they're quite adept at finishing their scoring chances. So yeah, they're a team that seems to be, yeah, you know, quite good in the attack. And yeah, in terms of the playing style, they favor long balls, attempt crosses often, as with Julian Gressel in the team, you will see that will happen. And yes, they do take a lot of shots. So yeah, our defense and Brad Guzan will have to be wary of that. We were able to, of course, quell them at home. Hopefully they do not return the favor over the weekend. But getting into some of the players to watch for them, Edson Flores, midfielder. And yeah, he's definitely a guy that, yeah, is one of their talisman for sure. Julian Gressel, of course, as well. He was a big signing for them last year. He's living up to the promise a little bit more this season. Steven Birnbaum, a defender. Their captain, pretty much for the most part. He anchors the back line once again. And a young gun in Moses Nyman. Yeah, definitely a guy that will be one to watch for sure. But getting into the injuries and availability report, DC out for them is Brendan Hines, Ike with a hip, Adrian Perez with the foot, Chris O'Doy Atsum with the quad, and questionable are Nigel Robertha with a groin injury, Paulie Ariola with a hamstring, and Bill Hamid with a hamstring, as well as Donovan Pines with a foot injury. But getting into LA United's injury report, Emerson Hyndman, of course, is out with a torn ACL. Franco Ibarra with a lower body injury. Ronaldo Hernandez still probably questionable with the health and safety protocol that he's under. And Amar Sejdic is probably out with a muscle injury as well. But let's get into our predicted starting 11 for LA United. I think, of course, Goose between the sticks, and Robinson, Franco, and Walks returns to the back line. And the wing backs, I think Lennon persists, and Bello comes back in over Mulroney. And Sosa comes back from the yellow card accumulation. And Marcelino Moreno, I think, takes up the spot again next to him. I think it's tough luck for Mateus Rossetto, but it's also, he deserves a little bit of a break as well. And Ezequiel Barco in that 10 position, roaming around. It seems, it's been working decently, of course, in terms of defensively, but we will be tested in this match against DC United. It will not be as easy as it was against FC Cincy. And up top, kind of the two at the spearhead of this attack has been quite dangerous in the last few matches. Joseph Martinez and Luis Araujo will be the strikers. But getting into what I'd like to see the team do in this match, I think I'd like to see them defend those wide spaces very well. And if DC United are going to take a lot of pot shots, then they will have to be weary, as Brad Guzan is not the most adept right now at the shots from distance. Shots from distance, rather, as my voice went out. But getting into the match facts, LA United have won 6 of the last 7 matches in MLS. LA United have been winning at both halftime and full-time in 5 of the last 7 matches. That included beating DC United. And there have been over 2.5 goals scored in 7 of DC United's last 8 games. So there will be goals, it seems. And LA United have seen over 2.5 goals in their last 3 matches against DC United in all competitions. So that leads us nicely to the score prediction. What do we think? I think it's going to be a tough one. So I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think, Joseph Martinez is going to keep on that torrid form, as when he gets hot, he gets hot. And maybe Araujo can score another one for us as well. But there's also a fun fact in that Ezequiel Barco, when he scores, we are 6-0 in terms of win, losses, and draws. So hopefully he scores, and maybe we can turn this around into a win instead. But guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. What is your prediction for the lineup, for the score prediction? But that's it for this episode of Scouting the Enemy. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.